You has now come to an end, and after 5 seasons, the conclusion of the final episode proved to be divisive. With a multitude of love interests over the years, a wide range of emotions were evoked toward Joe Goldberg, and let's not forget the many, many murder victims he racked up, well into the double digits across 50 episodes. In my opinion, the seasons definitely varied in quality, so with that, I thought it would be worth ranking each season of the show, highlighting which one I thought was the worst and which one stood out as the best. I'll also say my opinion has changed quite a bit since my last ranking. Let's get into it. Here is every season of You ranked. Note, this video contains spoilers. For me, the weakest season was Season 4, the penultimate one. Several things made it fall below par, one being the fact that the season was split into 2 parts. Waiting a month for the second half disrupted the pacing and rhythm of the story. Despite the cliffhanger, the break felt frustrating and jarring. There were interesting elements like Reese Montrose being a figment of Joe's imagination, but the sheer number of kills felt excessive and frankly ridiculous. Kate, the love interest this season, wasn't particularly likable. She was more tolerable in Season 5 but didn't feel like Joe's type initially. The wider supporting cast also lacked appeal. I didn't connect with any of them the way I did with characters like Delilah, Claudia, Forty, Ellie, and Paco in previous seasons. This lack of emotional attachment made a big difference. Joe killing Eddie to frame Nadia was, in my opinion, one of the most evil things he's ever done. It went against his usual motives, killing for love or to rid the world of bad people. Eddie was innocent, and this act didn't even evolve Joe's character meaningfully. While Season 4 is my least favorite, it was still a solid installment and enjoyable television. Coming in fourth is the most recent season, Season 5. I did enjoy the final chapter, but compared to the top 3, it fell short. I appreciated the tonal shift, from Joe falling for a new love interest back in New York, to a complete turn when he's caught committing a murder. That switch was compelling, but as the season progressed, the storyline became less believable. Joe being fooled by the same person twice, Louise didn't feel true to his character, and despite being caught red-handed committing murder, with multiple people accusing him, he somehow got away with it. The penultimate episode, where Joe nearly dies in the basement of Mooney's bookstore as it burns, was excellent. I also liked the ending, with Joe in prison, alone, living his worst nightmare. It was fitting. However, the season overall felt exaggerated and less grounded than earlier ones. Louise wasn't a strong love interest either. I'm glad Joe got his comeuppance, but this season could have landed better. In third place is the season that started it all, Season 1. This season was gripping. We were introduced to Joe Goldberg and his disturbing tendencies. Penn Badgley delivered one of his best performances here because everything felt fresh. We were discovering Joe's character in real time, just like the people he manipulated. The tension, panic, and fear built throughout the season, especially when Beck discovered Joe's murder box, was some of the show's best. We rooted for Beck, and when Joe succeeded in killing her, it created a moral conflict that lingered. The season also showed Joe's human side, especially in his care for Paco, which helped audiences feel something for him despite his monstrous actions. The cliffhanger with Candace's return was a fantastic twist that set up future seasons well. Season 2 comes in second. This was when the show truly found its rhythm. The introduction of Love Quinn, a character who mirrored Joe's traits and manipulated him, was genius. The deaths of side characters like Delilah were deeply emotional, and Ellie remains a fan favorite. Having Candace return to Joe's life while being entangled with Forty tied the story together nicely, making Joe fight on multiple fronts. His compassion toward Ellie and freeing Will Benheim showed another side of him and added depth to his arc. I'm disappointed that Delilah's death and Ellie's absence weren't acknowledged in Season 5. They deserved more closure. Overall, Season 2 was packed with tension, standout performances, and compelling story arcs. It used to be my favorite, but it's now second. Season 3 is, in my opinion, the strongest season of the show. Before this, Season 2 was my favorite, but looking back, Season 3 feels like when You hit its peak. Love Quinn became Joe's fiercest rival, and the finale, where Joe outsmarts and kills her, was masterfully executed. The scene with Taylor Swift and Bon Iver's Exile playing in the background was unforgettable. Joe's romance with Marianne was the last compelling one in the series. Interestingly, Joe didn't kill many people this season, only Ryan and Love, but her death carried the most weight. The toxic yet magnetic dynamic between Joe and Love was the show at its finest. Setting the story in the suburbs gave the show a fresh feel. The nosy neighbors and the tight-knit setting worked well, making their descent into chaos even more intense. Love's mental unraveling and the crumbling marriage were the heart of the season, and it was the right move to center the story there. Season 3 was bold, darkly funny, emotionally rich, and utterly gripping. It's the one I remember most fondly. You has been a staple of Netflix and a brilliant psychological thriller. Joe Goldberg stands out as a modern-day villain, and his fall from grace felt poetic. While opinions may vary, especially about the ending, I believe the show ended at the right time. It peaked in seasons 2 and 3, and I'm glad it didn't overstay its welcome. So there you have it, every season of You ranked. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.